So many people are hyped up for a new Call of Duty World War II. A last chance of Activision, they say. Last chance to redeem themselves in the eyes of audience for the bullshit streamlined games they've made for the past 5 years. Every year they make a Call of Duty game that looks more and more like the previous one. It's like they've invented the engine, they put all the assets, and they simply make these games like at the factory. But Call of Duty 2 will be different, they say. Call of Duty World War 2, mind you. It's not like they've made this game before and now simply redo it in a newer engine. Right? With those sweet Call of Duty points that bring stable flow of money to the company and destroy any possibility of this game franchise in the future to be any sort of creative or innovative like it was before. I can still remember when I first sat down to play a new Call of Duty 1. And it was an awesome type of game. The storyline was very interesting, it was very varying. The game looked good compared to other games. It was visible that this game was made by a bunch of people who were proud to have their names on it. Nowadays it's just corporate bullshit. And those money flow from all those sweet Call of Duty points I've mentioned before, and how it kills the possibility of progression for this game. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against Call of Duty points. It brings stable flow of money to the company, filling their pockets year after year, giving them less and less reasons to make any sort of innovative or interesting Call of Duty game. And why? Why would you? In modern day and age, they no longer care about putting their name on this game. The only thing they care about is money, and it's corporate thing. I have nothing against it. They simply do their job. They simply provide services, and we are the consumers of their services. But what tipped me the most is the circumstances under which this game is coming out. And by this I mean right after Battlefield 1. Now, love Battlefield 1 or hate it, I don't really care. It's a great game, full with bugs. I mean, it's like the more I look into Call of Duty franchise, the more it starts to resemble me something that I've already seen before. Any correlations? Any guesses? The king of streamlined bullshit. Everyone's favorite Madden, from BioWare themselves. Does any of you remember when third iPhone came out? Because this is the same pattern the Call of Duty games were made once. They were made to last long. You jump out on Call of Duty Modern Warfare multiplayer game and it's full of hacking 12 years old who have zero to no achievements in their life, and the only thing they hold dear is that hacking tool in their game where they can do 360 no scopes or something, I don't know. No maintaining, no moderation, nothing whatsoever. So what can we expect from a newest entry in this franchise? Call of Duty World War II. Nothing new, I tell you. You're hyping out for nothing. In other universe, where microtransactions weren't invented, Activision actually has limited supply of money and they have to make a quality game. Because if they don't, they're gonna close and go the hell out of business, with Battlefield 1 very quickly closing the gap. Now tell me, what is the difference between newest Call of Duty and newest iPhone? Both of the companies creating their projects were started by a bunch of dreamers who wanted to create something they would be proud of. Both companies made a fortune and become known all over the world. They simply gave up on their creativeness and started to streamline the hell out of their creations. And the more you look into it, the worse it gets. I mean, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, many people said it was quite streamlined in comparison to the previous one. And somewhere out there were ghosts, as far as I remember, then Modern Warfare. And now look at this, I can't tell the difference between any of the games they've made for the past 5 years. It's all the same generic stuff, the worst kind of generic stuff, where graphics are the prime concern of the developers. Because there's nothing more important than graphics, right? Because there's no such thing as storyline or an actual improvements for multiplayer. Stable servers for once, no crashing issues. I mean, I can understand crashing issues at launch, but Call of Duty games are notorious for having crashing issues for months after release, not being able to connect, problems with the host, and all thanks to this wonderful tool called Steam. Now, Steam is very pro-consumer in terms of you not even needing to get your fat ass out of your apartment to go to the nearest GameStop and buy a CD of a game. You can actually download it while you call Domino's and order an extra large pizza. But for the companies, it's an opportunity to create the rawest, the most broken and unpatched, unplayable shit the world has ever seen. Now, I did not come here to simply bash on your choice of playing video games. I mean, it's up to you. I'm a fan of Call of Duty series just like you, and the only thing I want going on with it is improvement. And some people, not all, but some, who keep hyping this stuff, the creators who keep giving reviews to the games that is not even came out yet, not to mention the issue of trust to the critics. I mean, those people simply do their job, they don't care. It's not 19th century when critic could lose his job for making a negative review to a beloved product, an honest negative review, mind you, and not 17th centuries as well, when critics could lose their head for making such a review. But maybe you don't know the alternative. For those of you who are interested in single player experience of Call of Duty, I can recommend you this wonderful piece of art that's coming out soon as well. I mean, just you look at this, it's beautiful in its visible improvement over the previous entries. It looks good, it looks interesting, it intrigues. That's what a game should do. It should be developed for more than 1 year. Even if you used a real-time events that took part in the past. And I mean, what's wrong with swastika being not politically correct? What the hell? I mean, we should ban swastikas from history books as well. It's not politically correct, guys. Your kids should not know about Nazis. And all this social warrior justice bullshit. Like women at war. I mean, women were taking part in war. There are a lot of mentions of women pilots, women snipers, women scouts. It's not like there were women fighting on the front line. There were women partisans who basically did sabotage activities to hinder the progress of the Axis group. But it's like there were so many great women who took part in weapons production, especially in Russia when all the male population, the majority of male population were fighting the war. Women were the ones who were making guns and tanks for these males to fight this war. I mean, it's not like you have to be on the front line with a gun to actually change something. You could have shown this. I mean, if you have open plans for the future cutscenes, you can definitely include women making artillery shells, guns, ammo, tanks, airplanes, all this stuff. There were so many awarded workers among women, especially in Soviet Union, who did impossible, providing Soviet army with more and more weaponry to fight. Women medics who saved Soviet soldiers, and this is only from the perspective of Soviet Union. But you don't listen, do you? If they didn't fight at the front line, they did not exist. So, I mean, the conclusion is simple. Just cross out all the swastika symbols from the books, history books, find and destroy every picture taken from that time, every video that was also taken there, burn it, that's right, burn it. Kids should not know about this. It's not like history was supposed to teach us something, right? Right, guys? It's not like we should draw something from the mistakes we made before. Yeah, that's right, it's not. And also, women did not take any part at World War II, and social justice warriors not at all diminishing the heroism and sacrifice of all those women who fought their own wars, not at the front line, but at the cities the male warriors were defending, fighting hunger and 20-hour shifts at the factories to keep the war going and guarantee the victory of Allied troops. For those of you who are interested in grand multiplayer game of Call of Duty, I'm here to disappoint. I'm guessing more than half of you didn't notice that I put random clips of Call of Duty World War II gameplay throughout this Battlefield recording. Again, proving my point that there is nothing new in this game that you're so hyped up about. And that's as well the reason why the quality is so shit. The only difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield 1 visibly is in the minimap and some HUD. The minimap is in the different corner and HUD is a bit different. That's the only stuff. And generally Battlefield 1 looks better. So I had to record specific moments of it looking worse, so you could see less and less difference. One can only hope he will get his game interesting, playable, and generally well done. Do you know how you cook a meat? For those of you who know a thing about cooking a meat, you probably know that if you cook a steak, leaving a bit of a raw meat inside and let it cool for a few hours, and then try to make it well done, the taste of meat is gonna be awful. Even though it's gonna be a well-cooked steak, the taste is gonna be awful. And that's exactly my experience about every Call of Duty game. that came out since 2011. That's all of me for now. Stay tuned for more calm down bits, and I'll see you in my next video.
Friendly RCXD inbound.